Hey, you don't want to miss this. I'm Derek Deese, Executive Director of Man to Man Father Initiative. We're really going to go into some deep discussion about co-parenting. Sometimes as fathers, it's new to us. We've never done it before. And sometimes the relationship has ended, but the child is still here. So we're going to talk about exploring co-parenting. What does that look like? What dynamics does that include? How can I effectively co-parent? How can I do it even though I'm not in her life anymore, but I'm in the child's life? How can I do that and be effective at it? So you don't want to miss this. You want to tune in because we're going to talk about co-parenting, the power of co-parenting, methods you can use, and real life applications. You don't want to miss that. Let's join in. All right, yes. So the next one would be respectful. Let's talk about that because I think that sometimes we can become selfish and we allow our emotions to drive our behavior. So we find ourselves not being respectful of the child's feelings or the mother of the child's feelings in co-parenting. What do you guys say?
I think that's good because Craig pointed out that sometimes when he had to think about the mother of his children, her time, and some things that she may have planned with that child, and being able to adjust your schedule to fit around that time frame, because you have to realize she is the primary parent, she is a custodial parent, and you have to kind of adjust your schedule to fit, what she has going on in her life and going on in your child's life as well, and you might have to take a back seat to that, and that takes a level of humility, and also being like, okay, man, and not be so prideful about it. Well, I have rights. I'm part of the parent as well. But realizing you don't want to interrupt the flow of the child's life.
Because sometimes we can keep score.
That's absolutely.
We keep score. Okay, absolutely. Now you did this. Now let me throw this at you because sometimes, let's say it's your weekend, and you've already got this planned out what you want to do with Junior. I'm taking him to the game, or our homecoming game. And the mother's already planned that her mom is coming down. And so they're going to Carowinds, but it's your weekend.
Right.
So, and let's say you get the text or the phone call. Hey, I know it's your weekend, but my mom's coming down. She hadn't seen Junior in a long time. So, so let's rotate weekend. But you've already decided I done bought him a cap. Done bought him a jersey. We're going to wear our little matching jerseys. We're going to the homecoming game. Can sometimes that cause us, to be disrespectful, even if we don't verbalize it through text? Because I think some men get their phone like, okay, I got something for her. I'm going to say this. Or I'm going to post something on Facebook that's basically talking about her, but without calling her name. We have to learn how to be respectful.
That's true.
I think that goes into where y'all are as friends and as co-parents. If it's a situation where y'all are able to talk about these things, which goes back to communication.
Yeah.
You can work through those issues,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's one person is treating it cut and dry, we have to adapt to those things. We have to sit here and say, well, maybe, like you say, mom's coming down, grandma's coming down, hadn't seen the child since last year because they live in another city.
Correct. Yeah.
But I'm going to this game. This is my weekend.
Right.
But if it's ever been a situation before then where I want to do something and you didn't want to budge on it, you can best believe I don't care who coming down. I'm going to still go with my weekend because we got into that tit for tat if we're not able to communicate.
Here goes. Being able to assess now what could I have done differently. I think if you don't understand the role, what your role is now, from just a parenting aspect, without a lack of being able to communicate, not understanding what is expected of each party, then you're going to be disrespectful, right, and not respectful to the other person that is involved. What's my role now?
That's good.
What do you expect from me? What am I expecting? What are we expecting from each other? Because it's a business, it's a partnership.
Now, let me ask you something, Ben. Can sometimes in my role, I inject myself like, okay, I'm going to pick up Junior, I'm going to pick up Lakeisha, and in hopes that we can be one big happy family again.
Looking for something else.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I'd be disrespectful for her because I feel as though I'm doing all this for Junior, and you still don't notice I'm a good man. I'm doing all this with Keisha. See what I bought Keisha? Yeah. Hoping that she likes it so she can look at me as, see, I'm a good man. You sure you don't want to get back together? You see, we can be one big happy family again, reunited, and it feels so good. We want to bring it back to that.
But we have to look at our roles as men, period. Yeah, you could be a good father and the worst boyfriend. Because there's a reason why y'all broke up. You know, or you can be the best boyfriend and the worst father.
Yeah.
You know, you have some guys that are married in a house that don't even know their kids.
Yeah.
You got a guy that's out here struggling and it's the best dad in the world. Might not have the money, might not be able to do this, but we have to be careful. Like I say, I'm showing you, hey, I can take care of my son now. I'm doing better with my son. That doesn't translate back
Not to earn points with her.
because you're not doing for her.
Okay.
Because remember,
Yeah.
like one thing we talked about, you made allude to is, and Terrence did in the beginning, that the same way as a co-parent to get her to go along with maybe your ideas, you still have to treat them like that's the person that you met. You're still pursuing them to a certain degree. Y'all may be able to talk about things that you're doing for your child over dinner, but a early dinner, not the 7 o'clock dinner versus the 9 o'clock where we going after this, you know, or treat it as a lunch. But this is a conversation about our child and not us getting back together. We have to separate those
Or
conversations.
even after you go and visit the child on site at the house, you try to extend it long so you can have a nightcap.
Yeah.
And when she say, "Oh, time to go," you looking at her like she's crazy. What? I mean, I can stay here with my child. You know, we ain't got to do nothing. No, I think it's time for you to leave, and then you start disrespecting her.
That's
You know,
good.
I might jump all over the place with this, but I think through all of this, through the breakup, I think it gives you an opportunity to reinvent yourself.
That's good.
You know what I mean? You know, if she sees, okay, you know, he might be making some changes, or she might be making some changes, then you may have to reevaluate some stuff. You know, he may have reinvented himself. She may, reinvented himself, and you begin to look at stuff differently.
Taylor turned the Ralph to Denzel.
But I think it's key to look at what is the goal and the target of that relationship. And realizing, okay, we may not have a romantic relationship now, but we could shift that to a parenting relationship.
And you should be okay with that,
and you
right?
should be fine with that. And if you can't, you need to address that and be open and transparent with that person. We're like, okay, maybe I need to heal in this part first, because if I bring that into this relationship, it's not going to be authentic. And if it's not going to be authentic, there's always going to be some hidden agendas and motives behind what you're doing. Right? So what is our goal? What are we trying to accomplish?
Understand
where are we going? Your
this.
parameters, your boundaries, and what are your non-negotiables, and what can be negotiated, and what can I compromise?
I got to push you on that right there. So you're saying that if my agenda is to impress her with what, and this is what I'm doing for the child. So what if the woman, as much as you're doing for that child, hoping to impress her, she still dates Steve? So if your agenda is that, then if you feel as though it didn't work, you're going to stop taking Junior out to the ball games because she's not paying me any attention. Right. So I like what you're saying, because sometimes if we're driven, if we're driven to spend time with our child hoping to score with mom, and we don't score, are we going to still visit and spend time with the child?
That's good.
But that's going in with the wrong mindset, is
Absolutely.
you know,
absolutely.
If your ideal is to get back with mom, go after mom, because like you say, she ends up with Steve. What did I do wrong? I was doing for Craig. I was buying Craig toys, and
but should we, instead of trying to beat him out, instead of buying a whole wardrobe and getting in debt just to drive up with a BMW, just to show her, look at what I'm doing, look who I am, aren't we missing the part of it's supposed to be about that child?
There it is.
That's
Exactly.
right, like Chad said. You got to establish those parameters moving forward. What is the relationship? What are the responsibilities, and what is to be expected
There we go.
from each other?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good word. Expectations. That's a good word, sir.
And
Good word.
Okay, it ain't no more us.
Because you can't be disappointed if you're not expecting, right?
That's right.
That's good. That's good.
Your role has been identified.
There you go. That's good. Come on, sir. That's good.
And we've had a conversation in terms of, and that's where like me and my daughter's mother, have always been. Like my expectation is if there's anything that we have to do together to financially do, like say for instance, my daughter's in dance. We had a discussion on it before she put it in it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, I put it in it, you need to give me $150 a month for her dance. No, we have discussions. We can communicate on this. So then, therefore, if there's anything that's going on with my daughter, I already know ahead of time so I can prep myself. Okay, Dan, you need to start saving some money. Might need to stop eating out because this 150 is getting ready to hit. Right. Or, you know, having enough respect of her time. Like, I don't have certain weekends that I have to get my daughter. It's an open range. But before I just automatically say, you know, I want to get my daughter Saturday, I will call her earlier in the week. What are y'all doing Saturday?
Absolutely.
Because if she
let's go back into the planning.
Yeah, if she has, you know, she may say, well, we're going to visit my dad today. You know, this morning, we'll be back at 5. Well, I'll just come out to 5.
Gotcha.
But that's me being respectful of her and her time and what they have going on.
That's back to that word.
And I have more range to, you know, see my daughter any given time versus this is just your weekend, first weekend, third weekend.
Mm-hmm. You know what'd be disappointing? Let's say if you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Let's say you're the guy on the other side. And now you done, you know, bought a new wardrobe. You want to show her. You done start hitting the gym. You done did all this. And you go up to the house. You knock on the door. She open the door and there's the Rock. Her boyfriend look like the Rock. You don't put all that. Deflated. So I think we need to be, then you start disrespecting her because she's moved on. Let's go to the next one. Right. Enthusiastic. All right. E for enthusiastic. I think that we should not make it laborious to do daddy duty. Other words, okay, let me go pick up this kid. Son, what you want to do? It's my weekend. I think you should show some enthusiasm.
Absolutely.
You know, part of co-parenting is being enthusiastic, showing that child, I'm excited to see you. Hey, what did you do? What are you doing in school now? Is your favorite color still red? Is your favorite cartoon still SpongeBob? What's going on with SpongeBob? What was the last what was the last cartoon you watched? Yeah. Being enthusiastic, I think that is important for the child.
I think more kids pick up on, you know, your energy. You know, if you come to pick them up, you know, and some people look at, oh man, I got to babysit this weekend. Well, how's it babysitting and that's your child?
Yeah, make it like a job.
Right.
So if you come there dragging to
Mm-hmm.
sit there and be like, well, you know, what you want to do? That child might be like, nothing. Then you like, well, I pick up. She ain't want to do nothing. But it's your energy going in. Like, hey, what's going on? Or, again, communicate with your kids throughout the week.
Treat that child just like one of your boys.
When I come pick you up Friday, what are we doing? And then be excited about what you're doing. Yeah. But if you go there dragging like, man, I got to babysit, or you thinking about the club, like, man, you seeing people on Facebook posting pictures, they in the club turning up, and you sitting there looking at y'all like, man, if I ain't had you, I could have been at the club. Wow. Some people carry that type of energy.
Wow. My dad resented me. My dad wish he never had me. It's going to send that message. You're right.
Now, if they say that, and that's a...
yeah.
But that, like you said, with being enthusiastic, hey son, let's go. Let's, you know, like Craig alluded to him and his boys going to the football game. He has to, you know, they all might like football, but if he's truly into it, they go follow him. You know, they're going to... Yeah, Dad.
My dad excited to be with me.
Yeah.
You know, it could be with one of his friends. Be excited to be with me. He got tickets to Clemson game with me.
Right.
You know, showing some enthusiasm. Or even if it's if your girl's a teenage. Hey, so what music you listen to? Who made that? Really? Right. Oh, girl. Back in the day, we listened to this. That ain't got nothing. Let me check out. I'm gonna throw my CD in there. Right. Check this out. It's creating that moment, making that child feel enthusiastic. Dad, that's corny. Yeah, but it's music. I mean, you start laughing and cutting up about that. Right. I mean, being enthusiastic.
You know, I'm going to touch on affirm and enthusiastic.
Okay.
Okay. You know, when I even after the breakup, once I had to collect myself and establish, you know, I had to regain myself and understand, you know, the importance. And so I would go to visit my son's school to do lunch or whatever. And anytime I went to the school, my sons would jump up, come running to me.
Yeah.
And I remember the kids asking them, "Who is that man?" "That's my daddy." And Malik especially would always put his head on my chest, and put his arm around my neck. Proud. And that spiked a level of enthusiasm, man. I may not have talked about it, but inside I felt like Superman.
You did, because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, in the last segment, you talked about the head and the chest and the arm.
Yeah.
So that touched you
Yeah.
as much as you touching
Absolutely.
him.
Absolutely.
And I think something powerful that you just said, you're both affirming each other.
Yeah.
Not only did you affirm the child, but you got to affirm and validate as a father.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's powerful to be affirmed and validated as a father, especially in the society that we live in today and how fathers are looked upon.
Oh yeah.
So that should excite you as well to like, man, you bring that same level of excitement that your child brings.
Yeah.
Come on. And a word that you use, all in. You got to be all in when you're
That's
parent.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
When you're fathering. You got to be all in.
That's right. That's right. That goes to the next one. New. Many times being a co-parent doesn't come with a manual. All right? It's something different, you know, because sometimes when you're together, I mean, you feel as though that, okay, I'm just going along. But when you're on the other side,
Yeah.
it's a new it takes a paradigm mindset, a paradigm shift in the mind. Because when you're new to parenting, trying to decide who you are, where do I fit? What is my role? Does my voice carry a bigger voice than hers in a child's life? She wants to parent this way. I want to parent this way. I say when people come together, you bring your luggage and your baggage.
Right.
I bring my luggage and our baggage. And we get together and we unpack. But, oh, what do we have here? And we have to use all of these things to try to parent. So sometimes it's new in co-parenting. So being it is a new thing, I think it goes back to being open-minded. You got to be open-minded because
Absolutely.
sometimes when the student is ready, the teacher will teach.
Oh, that's good.
I think you have to always set yourself up to always learn. Sometimes you can learn more about yourself through your child. You can learn more about yourself through circumstance. What did this circumstance teach me about myself? Why am I getting jealous? Why am I annoyed? Why do I not feel compelled to want to do for my child? How was I parented? Was my dad there? Did my community make it feel okay and normal for daddies not to be in your life? So was my abnormal my normal?
That's good. That's good.
It is very important to spend quality time with your children. And we're going to show and demonstrate some things you can do with your children while you're at home with them. How you can just take a football or soccer ball and go outside and just kick the ball around and play with your kids. We're going to have some demonstration of that. But also it's very important for you to spend leisure time in the educational department of your children. It makes children feel so valued for a father to sit down and read books to your children, to talk to them and let them know that you are interested in them. So spending time with your children is very powerful. Join us as we go through these sessions to talk about spending time with your children, but also to demonstrate what that looks like.
You know, I remember when I first found out that Wanda was pregnant with Malik, I panicked. Even the day that Malik was born, I had no clue what to do, but then I thought about it. I didn't have my father, but I had my grandfather, who set a framework as what to do. You know?
Pull from your available
Absolutely.
resources, okay?
Not only my grandfather, but men in my community, men in my church, the conversation that we had. And one of the things that I did learn was being able to listen to my child. Because they'll tell you what they want. You just have to listen. You know, and in that role as a parent, co-parent, you know, you feed off of each other.
That's good.
Because she was already a parent. You know, she had Justin. And so I had to kind of follow. I put pride to the side
Good.
and kind of follow some things that she was doing already. And then, you know, will this work out for us?
So you was teachable. That's the mindset. Been teachable.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was, you know, she could have done a book, Parenting for Dummies. I would have been okay, you know. But I was open to learning, and then my neighbors across the street, they were opening up to me, putting stuff into me. So, you know, in that aspect, man, I was learning on the job.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's powerful to realize and internalize that as well. With it being new, you're gonna make some mistakes,
Okay.
right? And you don't have all the answers, so you need to identify some resources to be like, okay, I don't know, who can I tap, or who can I tap to? Maybe a grandfather, somebody in the community that has done this thing successfully. What does that look like?
Gotcha.
Even what I have and what I saw, is that the right model I need to follow? Right, and then you have to have some internal things, and then really, like you were saying, learn about yourself. Right? Who am I really?
Yeah.
As a person, as a father, as a man.
And I think it creates an opportunity for you to reinvest in your child something you didn't get.
That's good.
You know, but sometimes we're living in an environment now that, especially, and I wonder is it different, and I guess it would be different from parenting or co-parenting in a rural community versus an urban community.
Absolutely.
Because in an urban community, you know, the child can kind of go down the street and get into different things. There's arcade places. There's more recreational thing. But in the rural communities, such as our community, you don't have a lot of those things.
You gotta be creative.
You got to be creative.
You know, in me coming from a rural area, we didn't have all of that stuff. But my grandfather took us fishing. We would visit other people, especially on Sundays. We would go. There was a lake, was a Little Hell or something, and he would take us, and we would park and we would run around, and that was the highlight of my week.
Wow.
So a lot of those lessons I would extend to my children, even though this area had more to offer. But you know, in certain situations, I had to pull from where I came from. Right. I had to be creative.
Absolutely.
You know.
So you can do, let's say if you have a little girl, she's 5-6 years old, you can pull the little, I don't know if y'all remember, you remember the little the little Barbie baking, what you call it? Easy bake ovens. You can get in there with your child, make some little cakes for easy bake ovens. You can take them outside, teach them how to ride the bike. You can, Craig said earlier, you can sit down and watch the game if you have a child going into his early teens. If you have a little boys from 5, 7 to 10, they like to rough and tumble, lay down wrestling with them, talk about wrestling to them, talk about superheroes. You can take them to Walmart. We just walk around the store, spending that. It's not really about quantity.
Quality.
It's about quality.
I'm gonna tell you something we used to do. We moved outside of the town into the rural part of Marion, and myself, my sons, and some of the other kids in the community, you know, I like I said, pulling from where I came from, I got real creative, and there was this old school down the street from where we lived, and I used to tell the kids it was haunted. Really? And they get so excited, and we would walk down there at nighttime with me and these kids. To this day, they talk about it.
Do not try this at home.
Scaring the babies. But I think.
But they'll remember those memories, something you did with them.
Yeah, we you know, that place we went to, and I would just, you know, oh, y'all heard that? We'd take off running, but we would be laughing. And these kids are in their 20s and 30s now, but we
Still talk about it. And what about, remember playing kickball? You roll the ball and let them kick it.
I remember coming home from work when I used to work at Harbor Freight. And this is something that used to kind of make me emotional. Malik was 5 or 6. And I remember coming home from work one day and I was tired. But I had the ball between my leg, and he came between my leg and he grabbed the ball, and I said, do you want to learn to play this? He's like, yes, sir. I said, tomorrow when I come home from work, I'm going to show you. Now you got one thing I learned, you can't promise a child.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They're going to hold you to it. Yes, sir. They don't forget it.
Yeah. So, you know, I came the next day and I was tired, man. I was tired, and I laid across the bed. and I felt like somebody was watching me. And if y'all know my son, he has a big head. Malik. Sorry, brother. But I laid across the bed, and I was tired, man. I was tired, and I felt somebody was watching me. And I turned, I looked to my right. Malik had a headband on, had wristbands, and he had socks up here, basketball. And I turned and I looked, and I said, you still want to play? He's like, yes, sir. I said, okay, give me 5 minutes. He just started jumping up there, yeah, we're going to play ball. And I will never forget that, man. And as long as I live, you know.
Wow.
And I think for a lot of situations with co-parenting, the new part about it also is that you got to learn how to talk to the mother different than what you were talking
She
to.
ain't my girlfriend no more, so I got to talk
Exactly.
different.
Like, you know, all before when I called and I said something, this is what's getting ready to happen. Now, you admit it's not resistance, but it's just, okay, well, what you say don't go in, you know, in terms of that. So now you got to really learn how to talk to her about making plans for your child. All before it may have been on the fly. You know, I'm coming to pick him up, fine. But like I said, now I have to respect.
Can I flip that? What if you've moved on? You picked Junior up for the weekend. Now she want to call to, do you remember the time? And you like, well, you ain't my girlfriend no more. So it can be new on both parts, right?
I mean, I never had that issue. But one thing I've listened to some of our participants talk about doing group was she didn't put me on child support till I got another girlfriend.
Okay.
She didn't say this until, you know, she saw me with somebody else. Or one of the other biggest issues is, well, you can take my child, but you can't have her around her.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
but
you know, we can explore that for a little while. I've heard a lot of that.
So now you and that person live together, or y'all dating, you know, y'all have an outing plan or whatever. So I'm coming to get my child. We're all planning going. Child comes home. Well, mom, me and dad and all,
and Keisha
and we went to CC. Then now it's,
let me get him straight. Who you had my daughter around?
No, I told you not to have her around.
She wanted to determine the rules of engagement.
Yeah,
Correct.
so and that's where, like I say, newness on both parts.
Both parts. Yeah.
Like
both parts.
the woman has a respect, because one thing about it, you being a dad, no, we're not together. You still have to respect me as a man, and that's where our challenge come back. That's going back to being respectful or disrespectful. You start challenging me what I do as a man. You don't need to have my child here. You don't need to have my child there. Well, it wasn't a problem when we were together. So why is it a problem now? It's just that I'm not with you.
The relationship changed.
I think for me, being a new parent, one of the things I had to learn, and I learned it down the line, is it wasn't about me anymore.
That's good. That's good.
You know, and that came with a level of maturity. You know, because I still thought it was about me, but it wasn't. You know, and you got two people with different mindsets, pulling in different directions, causes problems.
Yeah,
you know?
you're right.
So.
You're right. I mean, and I think y'all summed it up great. I mean, it's new to her, and it's new to him, but it's also new to that child.
Correct.
Yep.
It's new to that child. That child now has to look and say, okay, I saw dad on the regular. Now I see dad on the weekends. Now, you know, dad gives me a cell phone. I have to call dad, and, you know, I'm with mom, and I'm thinking about dad, and it's new to that child because watch this now. He used to dad being there. Let's say when the relationship was there, but now dad is not in the home, especially with divorce taking place. It's new to that child seeing that child mother with a different man.
Yeah.
That's new. So now I got to cope with, okay, I'm used to my dad being here. Who is this new guy?
Yeah.
He's not my daddy. And then, so that's new to the child. Having to, like, okay, do I have permission to like him? If I like this new man that my mom is with, does that mean I'm disrespecting dad? So there's a lot of newness going on there. So that all that dynamic has to be worked
I was
out.
hoping whoever my son's mother got with, I was hoping that they didn't like him.
That's just being honest.
Natural,
Yeah.
You know, that was my natural instinct. I was hoping. I hope they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You know, I had a thought about growth. The only thing that grows without work, intentionality, are weeds.
Ooh.
So if you look at your children as like flowers, realize that you're going to grow, that co-parent's going to grow, and they're going to grow. So what kind of fertilizer am I putting in there? Mm-hmm. Do you want weeds to grow up in your garden, or do you want the flowers, or whatever you have in there? Do you want that to grow in your garden? Mm. And so just realizing it's going to be new to you, like you were saying, new to all the parties, but you're going to grow. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you growing towards? I don't want a bunch of weeds in my garden. And so if you have that mindset, is like Craig was saying, it's not about me.
Gotcha.
But it's about this garden, this child that I'm raising, that I want to cultivate, that I want to see become a productive member of society. Wow. So what am I pouring into them?
You're right. So is it important that we shift our mindset? Should we sit down with Junior, or should we sit down with Keisha, our little girl, our little boy, and say, listen, even though me and your mom are not together, it's okay for you to be respectful towards whoever she dates? Is it okay? I mean, you don't want your child there brewing in anger and start disrespecting the mom because you feel like she's betrayed dad because now, she's dating him now. She's dating Brad, So sometimes we may need to sit down with our child because this is new and orientate them into this. Say, listen, even though we're not together, our love for you doesn't change. So if she's dating someone else, you have to understand our life is when we're divorced, whatever. That's going to happen. Or even dad is going to start dating somebody else. So you may have to, because you don't want your little daughter to be jealous of the new person in your life.
Right.
Feeling like, okay, dad is putting Karen before me because I get jealous. Well, why does dad have a bunch of selfies on Facebook? Or with her and her child.
Right.
Let's say he's dating Karen now. Karen already has a child. So when he has pictures looking like a family unit here, your child gonna look like that should be me in that picture. So it's new. Yeah. So you really have to walk the whole family through that process of change because it is new.
I think even in that situation, and one thing that I've done and always done it and still continue to do, like me, my daughter, her mother, we go out to eat like once or twice a year. But we did it in the beginning to show that, we talk and we plan over that meal, and my daughter gets to see it. Mm-hmm. And the fact, we are friends still. And we're able to plan things for her together. She gets to see the planning phase. Mm-hmm. She gets to see the talking. We don't discuss, finances in front of her. But that's just some of the things that you still have to do to make your children see that, hey, both of my parents still willing to work together for my benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So last but not least, we talked about communication. C for communication, O for being open-minded, P for being patient, A for affirm, R for respectful, E for enthusiastic, N for new, and last but not least, thankful. What does that look like? I don't think we should look at our child as being a chore. We should be thankful for the gift of life, which is that child.
I've always been thankful for the opportunity to be a father. Yeah. I think it's one of the greatest things that could be given to any human being to be a parent. Because you think about, as you say, cultivating. You pour in, you want to sit back and see what comes of your cultivation. That's good. And, and I look at my sons, man, and I'm so thankful. They're older now. They're all doing their respective things. Mm-hmm. But guess what? I know that I had a hand in whatever they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thankful for that. And whatever lessons that I'm able and was able to share with them, they're able to share with other people. Yeah. So
transferable skills.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I think for me, the part of being thankful is, even with my oldest daughter from a previous relationship to even the mother of my youngest daughter, I'm thankful for having level-headed women, that we've been through situations without all the drama, without the hate and the fact that they're good mothers.
Yeah.
They look out what's best for my child. Like, there's not ever a time that I've ever sent money and worried about, oh, she go get her nails done or she go buy a new pocketbook.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about all that. So to be thankful to have that in either situation and thankful that we can co-parent and I'm friends with both. We have genuine friendships even though the relationship is going.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we deal with our client, the first thing is, man, I don't like her, I hate her, this and that.
Yeah.
So it goes back to that point.
Being resentful instead of thankful.
Right.
Going, that you might have, there's some women that are gonna do things that are wrong. But for the most part, if you have somebody that's doing right by your children, that should drive you to even do your part.
That's right.
Yeah.
I see her going to school. My daughter, her mom is straight A student, sister straight A student. Little girl, nothing happens in the house without making A's and B's. So I have to co-sign that and push my child through her education. I can push. She's successful at dance. My oldest daughter, she's working in the hospital system. I have positive kids. So I'm thankful for their mothers to be able to provide that same energy and for me, just support it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to add this too. If you think about the sacrifice and the stress and toil that comes with giving birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When a woman carries a child for 9 months, the hormonal changes, the mood changes, the fear of baby, even dying on the table. Or women that lay there and they get a C-section and all those things, or you witness a woman giving birth. That takes a whole lot. So sometimes we need to just be thankful and respectful to women to going through the process of birthing, because that takes a whole lot. I think sometimes we take it for granted.
I do too. That's good. And another point, another dynamic of that is that they went along and had the child. They consider like abortion. So I mean, because that's prevalent in our society today. I mean, especially when the relationship didn't work.
Yeah.
So I mean, that is.
I'm gonna end the child's life because
Absolutely.
we've ended our relationship.
Right.
Right.
Right. So I think we need to be mindful of that as well. That mothers go through a lot, and I think we do take that for granted. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think one other thing, even as men, we look at not the day to day. When you're a non-custodial parent, every day that woman is getting up, getting that child dressed, fed. Even though you provide the money, they're doing the grocery shopping,
The child
in.
gets sick,
So
give them the meds.
For a lot of us, I'm not there to take my daughter to the doctor, all the time. But whenever she had doctor's appointment when she's smaller, hey, she got it this day, or going to the dentist. Yeah, I have to drive, go get her, take her to the dentist. But you're not gonna be there for that. Okay, your child just got a cold and out of school, having to find a babysitter,
100-degree fever, in the middle of the night,
and so you have to be thankful for those things. And I think a lot of times we take that for granted as non-custodial parents if that child is not, living with the mother. But I think even on the flip side of that, for those responsible fathers, that mothers should be thankful for that I don't have to worry about the financial part. I have someone that I can partner with, we listen to the stories that Craig have. They could be thankful that, hey, he took his sons to these games and he's a part of their lives to guide them as men. Now they're grown and he has responsible sons versus, they're out in the street doing whatever. They had a footprint to follow. So it's to be thankful for someone, like all of us, that we're doing our part.
Yeah, you're right. So one thing, we need to be thankful for the opportunities as being fathers. Being a father is a lifelong commitment, because even though you father, you think up to age 18 or 21, you're going to always be a father, because children go through different phases in their lives. As they transform to early adulthood, they're going to need you for guidance. As they go into middle age, and when we're old and everything, they're still going to need that wisdom. I read something years ago that that when I was young, I thought my father was the dumbest person. But when I became old, I thought my father was a genius. Wow. Because you began to realize everything. You begin to see life from a totally different perspective. Yeah. So we just want to encourage men to co-parent. Co-parent. Be there in the life of your children. Be there, be supportive as a father. Support the mother of your child. And be the best dad you can be. Thanks. If you enjoyed those sessions, feel free to give us a call at the number listed. You have our website. Call us because we are ready to serve. We realize this, that building families is very important because family is the bedrock of society. When you build families, one family will affect a community. A community will affect the town. The town will affect the city, and the city will affect the nation. So we have to realize family embraces everything that we want to be. We want to be sustainable, we want to be secure, and we want to be strong. So help us build families one father at a time.